If you want your freedoms back, you want to restore your families, rebuild the economy, and revive the state to the greatness that it should have, I'm your guy for the job, and we will deliver results. I'm Doug Mastriano, and I'm running to be your governor of Pennsylvania here. I'm a lifelong soldier. I served my country for 30 years, and that's all I ever wanted to actually do. And as I was retiring after 30 years of active duty and 4 combat deployments, 12 years out of the country, and much sacrifice for myself and my family, I was really reflecting on my service and heartbroken over the condition of my country that I was leaving behind for the next generation. And I couldn't stand aside. So instead of riding off into the sunset, as so many Army colonels tend to do, I ran for office. And I was blessed to be elected as a state senator here in the 33rd District. Not knowing that a few months after my election, that the nation and the state would be turned upside down. COVID hits. Governor Wolf comes running in with heavy-handed draconian policies, picking winners and losers, essential, non-essential, shutting down lives, creating confusion, despair, and stripping away our God-given freedoms. And I was appalled by how few people actually did anything about it. There's a lot of people running for governor now, and I look across the field and I can tell you that none of them did anything to really alleviate the pain and suffering of the people of Pennsylvania. So myself and a handful of others stood in the gap for our state, and it was we weren't alone, but it was lonely at times. We held rallies to reopen the state, to restore your freedoms, to protect you from medical tyranny, to free up your kids from being persecuted in schools and oppressed and bullied if they didn't comply and have masks on, and all these other things. And on people's lives and families being disrupted, churches being shut down. It was unheard of time in Pennsylvania. We believe this is the time for Pennsylvania to have a new, refreshing, bold type of leader that's not going to stand aside, not going to play party politics, not going to manipulate your lives or strip away your freedoms, but return freedom, restore freedom back into your hands so you can live your life as you see fit and raise your family as you see fit and run your business as you see fit. Rebbe and I have traveled across the state here from corner to corner, interacting with good citizens who've suffered from these failed policies of Governor Wolf and so many other politicians out there. Some of the most moving, of course, were during the shutdown in the nursing homes, the long-term health care facilities, when family members were cut off from seeing their moms and dads, and watching helplessly in this one case where a family outside of Harrisburg could only see their parent, their dad, through a window and watch him literally just fade away alone with neglect and abandonment. Those suffering from cognitive disorders didn't know what's going on and felt helpless and alone. And this kind of despair was going on across the state, and it seemed like nobody cared. Also, some of those that suffered the most, also special needs kids. We held a rally on the steps of the Capitol twice for the elderly and once for the special needs. And they were cut off from interacting with their care providers, those that they need to engage with to help them through any of the disabilities they have. They were relying upon touch, facial expressions, and instead going on Zoom and watching the regression of these beautiful young kids needing this kind of care, just fading into oblivion. And the Wolf administration and those in power in Harrisburg seemingly not even caring, just doing their own thing, enjoying life, playing golf, going to wine tasting events while these families are suffering. And it's just unconscionable to me. It's time to return the power to the people. Pennsylvania should be the wealthiest, most prosperous, greatest state in this nation here. We should be. But because of failed politics and politicians from both sides of the aisles, we've been driven into the ground. It's no longer a time we can stand aside, so we do have to come together. So that's why I'm asking for your vote. If you want your freedoms back, you want to restore your families, rebuild the economy, and revive the state to the greatness that it should have, I'm your guy for the job, and we will deliver results. My first day as governor, we will end all vaccine requirements. We will roll back any mask mandates. Once again, if you want to do it, it's up to you, but don't have any bureaucrat tell you how to live your life. And this is not the Pennsylvania that we all grew up in. I will work with the General Assembly to repeal Act 77 and compromise our election. We will fight for school reform and school choice, where you decide where to send your kids to school. I will fight for your right to keep and bear arms, preserving your Second Amendment. We will roll back taxes so you can live your lives as you see fit and keep more of your hard-earned money. And most importantly, we will fight to protect life of all people, the elderly and the unborn. It says in Luke chapter 11 that a people divided against itself can't stand. We need a leader that's going to bring this state together. Right now we're divided. I've been fighting for freedom ever since I was a young man. Most of my 20s I spent in uniform in the United States Army. All of my 30s, all of my 40s, and part of my 50s as a soldier every day on active duty, seeing how these freedoms are so precious, seeing how people around the world wish they had our freedoms, and then watching over the past 2 years these freedoms being stripped apart. We need a leader here that's going to put the state and your freedoms above his own ambition, and I'm your guy for the job. I went in as a senator to deliver results, and I got the job done. As your governor, I'll even do more so. If you want to take Pennsylvania back, the power's in your hands. We have an election coming up on May 17th. You come out and vote, get behind Doug Mastriano, and we will make sure the state goes back to the glory it once had. Pennsylvania is the keystone state. It should be leading the nation. It should be the light of the world. This is where the light of liberty was lit in 1776, and that was based off of a dream of William Penn. In 1682, when he landed on the shores of Philadelphia, he said, well, we'd be the seat of a nation. And he wanted Pennsylvania to be a beacon of hope for people from around the world to come to live their lives as they see fit. And that dream was fulfilled just after his death in 1776, where the light of liberty was lit. But of course, the struggle for freedom is never easy. And it came at a high cost. Right here in this region at Gettysburg in 1863, a new birth of freedom was secured. So this is our moment in time. Remember our past and look to the future. Let's make Pennsylvania a place where families want to stay, where businesses can thrive. So join the Walk as Free People movement. Go to doug4gov.com. That's Doug number 4gov, G-O-V.com, doug4gov.com. Register with your name, your phone number, and email address, just in case big tech on social media shuts us down, and that way we can stay in touch with you. I am Doug Mastriano, and I'm running to be the governor of Pennsylvania.